I'm going to show you the 3 main ways to structure your Google Ads account and my favorite way after managing millions of dollars in ad spend for my clients. And so you might have seen some of these before, and I'm going to go through them bit by bit. So we've got SKAG, STAG, and SEAG, and I'll explain what these mean, right? So SKAG is the original. It's the OG. It's what people kind of move to optimize their accounts. And so it's called single keyword ad groups. And so as the name suggested, normally you would have one ad group and just one keyword. That's it. So you've got, multiple ad groups and multiple keywords just with one designated ad group. And then so ads within there. Normally the typical setup is just one ad, not 3 in this picture. And so it was very, very popular between 2014 to 2018 because it had more ad relevance. So it improved your ad relevance scores, which meant you get a better ad rank. So for example, your ad rank would go higher to that top spot that everyone wants versus, the others. And so that would improve your top of page rate, improve your quality scores. So you would get discount on your ads. So you get up to 50% discounts off your ads because you had amazing quality scores and you had better control of your costs. So better cost per conversion. And so I'll explain how it works. So basically, as we kind of covered, you'd have one ad group per keyword. So you might have electrician near me in one ad group and one keyword, and then likewise emergency electrician would be its own ad group, etc. And you can see how convoluted and messy this would be over time, because you'd have to have, depending on your niche, you'd have so many keywords you're bidding on, and you'd have hundreds of ad groups and many, many campaigns, right? But in reality, you would have the best ad relevance and the best quality scores because of you're bidding on one keyword. Your ads say that keyword in the ad, it's going to one landing page, and you get the idea. So it was an amazing way of operating. But as you've kind of already hinted, it took too long to set up. Hundreds of ad groups to manage. Way too complicated for anyone to manage. Reporting was messy as hell. And then it was too labor intensive. So if you hired an agency, no way in hell did they have the time to actually manage those ads efficiently. And so I'll explain why people moved away from this into single theme ad groups. So single theme ad groups is the next one. And so this was popular after 2018 because Google changed the way that keyword match types worked. And they introduced AI bidding strategies. So you might have seen these bad boys. You've got enhanced CPC, max conversions, max conversion value. Google introduced this around that time, and it changed the way that everything works. You could have one ad group and multiple keywords in the ad group, and Google kind of took a hint in seeing that you're trying to at least go for emergency electrician in this case, and it kind of got the idea. And fun fact, around this time, around 2018, they actually were playing around with NLP, which is, that's a bit of a nerdy thing that you can look into that if you're interested. But yeah, basically you can see the evolution here from this one where it's one ad group, one keyword, etc. You would instead have one ad group and then a theme, a central theme. So it'd be, in this case, electrician near me. So it'd be nearby, close to me, or, electrician Sydney, electrician Melbourne, or insert suburb, right? And then emergency would be emergency style keywords like emergency electrician, 24/7 electrician, you know what I mean? So you do it based on the theme in this case. And so this meant obviously easier keyword targeting. It was much easier to manage. You get more increased search volume. You had faster campaign management. You had less time on the optimization. You basically go to an agency and they'll spend a decent amount of time on your account and they'll still move the needle for you. It balances the quality score and efficiency and maintains the ad relevance, but it's not as good as the single keyword ad group. But single keyword ad group by this point became dead. You couldn't really set up your account that way because it's just unsustainable. Okay. And so single theme ad group isn't always the best choice. You can still use it. I still do, but it means less control over the ad messaging, which means mixed search intent. So someone searching for cheap plumber obviously is not looking for premium plumber, right? They're two different audiences. And this is not the best example, but you get the idea. This has many use cases, but the same person looking for cheap plumber sees the same ad as best rated plumber. Or a premium plumber, or you get the idea, which means less conversions because the ad relates less to the person. It means lower click-through rate and fewer conversions, which we've touched on here, because your targeting is a little bit too broad. Okay, so ads meant for emergency plumbing might also show up accidentally for DIY plumbing tips, depending on how your match types are used, right? And so high intent searches are missing from this. Okay, so you'd also have wasted budget on low value clicks. So this isn't a correct description, but basically if you've got one keyword worth $30 and another worth $10, one's going to chew up a lot of your bids, and so you're going to have a lack of control. And so it's, you've got a few expensive keywords, a few non-expensive keywords, and the non-expensive keywords are not seeing the light of day because you've got them all batched together. This is an issue that's ongoing across all, but probably not the best example for a single theme ad group. Okay, we've already explained how single theme ad group works, and then single keyword ad group works. And I want to introduce this other one that's been around for a little while called single intent ad groups. So this is kind of the next evolution from single theme ad group, where it's trying to introduce, intent, basically. The problem with the single theme ad groups is the lack of intent, as we already covered time and time again. So we need to fix that. How do we fix it? Well, we have, affordable plumbers in one ad group, certified plumbers in another, emergency plumbers in another ad group, and you've got emergency related words here. You keep them there. You got certified related words here. You got affordable or cheap keywords here, and then you've got like near me or local suburbs or all this kind of stuff here. And so you make sure that these don't overlap with each other by using negative keywords correctly. So in order for this one not to overlap with this one, you'd have to add like affordable and cheap as negative broad keywords so that it doesn't like enter into these auctions. Anyway, that's a pro tip, but you get the idea. Single intent ad group, you're trying to cover the intent. And so this was introduced around 2022, I think, and it's becoming more popular now, which means tighter ad relevance, so better conversion rates, because you're serving, something that's really relevant to someone to, a landing page that's relevant to them, and you've got the right, specific, like cheap plumber near me, and you've got that in the actual ad copy itself, so it's more relevant. You've got better quality scores because of the relevancy, so it means lower cost per click. You've got granular bidding control. So you've got more bidding control because you can separate those expensive keywords, which are these ones, from these ones, right? And then better ad messaging. We just covered that, where basically your ad will resonate more with these people because they're looking for cheap. Whereas these people looking for emergency, I want you here in 60 minutes or less, or whatever it is. You want those kind of people and call outs. So it resonates with them more. So that's single intent ad group. But it's not all happy days in this case because it still requires more setup than single theme ad groups, so it takes a little bit more time. Google's automation can sometimes override it depending on your bidding strategy, but also the match type, right? Even exact match has been known to play about and not do its job properly, what it was intended for. And then some businesses may not have enough search volume to justify it. So you might not have enough budget, or you might not have enough search volume in the local area where you can actually use single intent ad groups correctly. Okay, yeah, which strategy should you use? Well, this is a fun one. So if your budget is really tight and you want something really easy to manage, then use single theme ad group, right? If you want full control and efficiency, then use single intent ad group, okay, the one that we just introduced. If using single keyword ad group, just stop doing it and just move to either SEAG or STAG, right? Now, some examples. If you've got $500 a month budget, then use single theme ad group. For the simplicity, you don't have enough budget to be too clever here. If you've got a $5,000 a month budget, use SEAG. It's better. It's just a lot better, and you'll get way better conversions at a lower cost per click, lower CPAs, higher CTRs. If you've got 50 grand a month budget, then use SEAG, of course, for your top services, and STAG for broader reach for experiment campaigns. So if you're a local plumber with a small budget, hopefully you've got a moderate budget, but stick to like a single theme ad group for plumbing near me and emergency plumber in 2 different ad groups. I would say 2 different ad groups. So I wouldn't go overboard with the plumber example. Dentist. So if you're a dentist, normally you've got a decent budget to get more bookings in. So I'd use a single intent ad group. So you'd have one ad group for teeth whitening, a different ad group for dental implants near me, etc. You might have some around premium and words like that if you're trying to attract high quality patients. Whereas if you've got, clients that looking for cheap and stuff, and you accommodate that, then you can lean into that as well. For e-commerce stores, if you've got a really high budget or even a moderate budget, you can use SEAG for your best sellers. So use listing groups, use Performance Max as much as possible. But if you're using search campaigns, use SEAG for your best sellers and single theme ad group for more general product categories. So create one search campaign per product category, and you can just go from there and keep testing it. So my favorite way and my favorite method across all the clients I use is I typically use a single intent ad group as much as possible. And when the client, of course, has a low budget, I'll try to play around with using STAG as much as possible. But those are the 3 ways you can set up your Google Ads account. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer them. And until next time, catch you then.